welcome. I'm so pleased that so many of you have turned out on this very, very rainy night. Just welcome to our candidates for the Garbage Collection District, and my name is Regina Guggenheim. I'm president of the League of Women Voters here in Port Washington and Manhasset, and as you know, our local league, the New York State League and the National League, are nonpartisan. We do not support or oppose any political party or candidate. Our mission is to engage you, the voters, by giving all candidates for a given office a public space to answer questions in a structured way while maintaining civil discourse. Before we begin, I want to thank all members of our league who have teamed up to make these forums happen. First and foremost is Marnie Schlesinger from the Great Neck Mall League, who will serve as our moderator this evening. Nikki Willard will be our timer, if you know who you are. Julie Neer and Katie Hangley will be our vetters. What they do is they screen questions so that we don't have a lot of repetition and then the questions flow in a smooth order. And they will be providing the candidates with questions that you write down. If you want to write down another question, I know we've collected several questions from people in the audience, but if you want to ask another question, we have a pen and cards up here, and you can just come up here and take an index card and a pencil. Judy Esterquist and I will also be walking through the audience to distribute index cards and pencils if you want them. Neil Lazar will be filming tonight's candidate forum, and he's in the back, and he will be just filming the whole thing. It will appear on YouTube, on the League of Women Voters website, on YouTube.
It's on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, on our YouTube channel.
Not our website.
On our YouTube channel. And so you'll be able to view it before the elections. Voting will take place December 13th at the Polish American Hall, which is at 5 Pulaski Place in Port Washington. Eligible voters can vote for the garbage collection commissioners between noon and 9 p.m. For the League of Women Voters, our purpose is making democracy work, and this includes all our voter services work, such as letting candidates speak directly to voters on issues that matter from forums like this, and by distributing publications and also by registering voters. It includes educating voters and advocating with legislators on issues involving voting in elections, redistricting, natural resources, and healthcare. We only take positions on issues after studying them extensively and reaching consensus. We hope you will consider joining the League, which you can do on our website, LWV of PWM. Remember, the League is not for women only, so you're welcome to join. Men, women, great, we welcome you all. Marnie Schlesinger, our moderator for this evening, is not from Port Washington. She is from Great Neck, and she will now read the rules and procedures before moving to opening statements and questions from the audience. Marnie, it's all yours.
Thank you for the lovely introduction, Regina.
Can you hear me?
For over a century, the League of Women Voters has sought to make democracy work by holding events like this so that voters like you can hear the views and observe the behavior of candidates on a range of issues relevant to this community. This is why we ensure all candidates agree to the debate procedures. Further, by being here tonight as the audience, you have agreed, as noted in a large poster over here. The League has used procedures like these for over 60 years to ensure fair process and encourage civil discourse. This will take about 3 minutes, so please bear with me. As moderator, I am the arbiter of all decisions during the debate. The following are the rules for this forum. I, the moderator, will be a member of the League of Women Voters from outside the district. Candidates' opening statements have been determined by drawing lots in person The same order will be for opening and closing statements. Each candidate will be allowed 3 minutes for an opening statement. After all candidates have spoken, I, the moderator, will open the meeting with questions from the audience. Questions may have been submitted beforehand electronically, but priority will be given to questions submitted in person on cards. In all cases, I, the moderator, will be the final arbiter of whether questions should be answered. Questions must not be duplicative, personal, or abusive. Questions at microphones will be strictly limited to less than 1 minute. Each candidate will be given 90 seconds, 1.5 minutes, to answer each question. At the moderator's discretion, the time for a response may be reduced so long as it is the same for everyone. There will be no rebuttal. Questions may be addressed to a specific candidate or candidates in general, although all candidates will be given an opportunity to answer any question addressed to a specific individual. The moderator, will attempt to rotate the order of responses for each question. A league member will act as timekeeper. Our wonderful timekeeper is right over here. 1/2 minute from the end of any given period, the timekeeper will alert the speaker by a prearranged signal. Thank you. When the time is up, the speaker will have their speaking finish. When the time is up, the speaker will be allowed to finish the sentence. Candidates who ignore time signals may have their speaking time reduced, and or those not violating the rules may be given extra time. Candidates will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. Since the purpose of the meeting is to determine the candidate's views, no substitute for the physical presence of the candidate at an in-person event will be allowed should a candidate be unable to attend. No written or recorded statement may be provided in lieu of active participation by a candidate. Forums require 2 or more candidates for each seat to be present, and the use of props, charts, or visuals, and the display of campaign collateral or apparel is prohibited. In accordance with the league policy, audio or video recording by the authorized members of the media will be permitted only if the candidates present agree. The league maintains the right to record the forum and publish it on the League of Women Voters controlled electronic pages. No other recording will be allowed. No partial transcript or recording may be published without written permission from the league. Like you, we are here tonight because we believe citizenship requires knowledge and civic engagement. And the responsibility of maintaining good government rests on the shoulders of citizens, that is, on everyone here. So, we have expectations of you, the audience. Please be sure to have your cell phones turned off or silenced, and please do not block the doors or the camera. Your purpose is to hear from candidates, so let's focus on their voices, not yours. Please remain seated and silent during the question and answer session. And as moderator, I will stop the debate if the audience interrupts. Interruptions reduce the time for candidates to speak, and we are here to listen to them. To repeat, league policy permits only authorized recordings of these hearings, of these forums. Taking clips or segments is not authorized. The league is recording this forum and will post it on our League of Women Voters of Washington YouTube channel this week, before the election. Any audience member who violates the agreed procedures for the forum or disrupts the forum by ignoring these audience expectations after being warned may be asked to leave. We thank you all for being here to learn more from each of the candidates who seek to represent you. When the candidates arrived, they drew straws for speaking order. Ms. Del Monte will be going first for opening and closing, and Mr. Scaglione will be going second for opening remarks and closing. I'll now ask the audience to applaud briefly after each candidate's opening statement, and then hold all applause and other responses until after closing statements. Ms. Del Monte, please begin.
Hello, is it on? Okay. Good evening. I would like to thank the League of Women's Voters for their time this evening for hosting this important forum, as well as those who have My name is Nadine Lamata Del Monte. I am very closely connected with Port Washington, New York. I was born here, now live and work here, and have deep knowledge and experience both as a taxpayer and a business owner. I am running for the Garbage Commissioner position because I want to continue to give back to the town, focusing on improving the appearance of Main Street and the broader business district, as well as being environmentally responsible through better garbage waste disposal practices. Some history. My father, Guy Lamata, established the Manhasset Bay Marina on Manhasset Island, Port Washington in 1964. It is also the home to Lamata's Dockside Restaurant, established in 1994. I graduated from Boston University in 1991 with a Bachelor of Science in Hotel and Restaurant Management. Throughout my college years to the present, I have worked in the customer service industry, of which the last 28 years have been at Lamata's Dockside Restaurant. I graduated from Boston University, my husband Rick and I raised our two children, Ryan and Bailey, here, who both attended the Port Washington School District during their elementary school years at Daley. I was on the HSA board for 7 years. As a garbage commissioner, my love for the town drives the actions I will pursue with the other commissioners, which are the following. Greater transparency and community involvement. I believe in fostering a dialogue with feedback from our constituents to find ways to improve the status quo for the betterment of our town. I will be proactive and collaborate with the community, both businesses and residents, and pursue possible new solutions and approaches by working with the town of North Hempstead and key town groups representing their constituency. I am willing to put in the time to collaborate and cooperate with all parties who want to help. I think I can.
Good evening. I'm Bill Staglione, longtime resident and merchant of Port Washington. I live here with my beautiful wife Lois, and we raised two wonderful daughters. I own and operate a business in town for over 45 years, and I've had the honor and privilege of serving as Port Washington's Garbage Commissioner for the past 18. As I think everyone affiliated with the community knows, Port Washington is a very special place. I truly care about the town, and I love giving back to the community. Many residents are surprised to learn that per our charter, the Port Washington Garbage Collection District is limited in scope to the collection and disposal of refuse and recyclables. We perform these services by hiring a third-party contractor via our competitive bidding process. Over the life of the winning contract, we closely monitor the performance of the contractor. The Garbage Collection District does not, however, manage enforcement of trash and recycling regulations nor litter, which falls under the purview of the Port Washington Police Department or the Town of North Hempstead Code Enforcement. My mission as Commissioner is to uphold efficiency and affordability. Our district operates effectively with 3 commissioners and no employees. No medical benefits, no retirement benefits for our commissioners, so your tax dollars go directly towards the cost of garbage collection and disposal. Property taxes have been a significant issue on Long Island for many years, and we are doing our part to keep your taxes low. In the course of a week, there are 3 garbage pickups, a recycling pickup, and a yard waste pickup. The average garbage tax in Port Washington today is around $300 per household annually. We're proud of what we've been able to do over the past 18 years. I encourage everyone here to drill down into your tax bill and see what you're actually paying for and getting in return. I hope to have the opportunity to continue to serve you in this office for the upcoming term, and I look forward to our discussion this evening. Thank you.
Thank you to both candidates for their opening statements.
Probably.
We will now begin with your questions. Mr. Scaglione, if you are re-elected, what are your goals for the district and how do you plan to achieve them?
After 18 years of being involved in this district, I would imagine that the goals are going to stay the same. Transparency, affordability, efficiency. As far as what we can do going forward, we always keep our eyes open and listen to all sorts of suggestions. And if that helps the community, if it's better for the community, it's better for all of us.
Thank you. the same question for Ms. Del Monte. If you are elected, what are your goals for the district and how do you plan to achieve them?
My goals for the district are to work closely with our organizations, BID, Residents Forward, to figure out ways to have clean up Main Street, just to have better ability with communication between the garbage district and the association.
Ms. Del Monte, when trucks pick up both trash and recycling at the same time, is it sorted at a central location or lumped together?
They are separated at a different location.
Same question for Mr. Sessions.
There's two separate trucks that come down. One will pick up recycling, one will pick up garbage. At that point in time, they're tipped at the town and the recycling is tipped separately.
Mr. Scaglione, are fewer pickup days possible with population residential increases? Would fewer days translate to lower costs?
No, not necessarily. We have looked into a 2-day-a-week pickup, and after studying the outcome of it, we're talking about, in a case of 2 days, a Monday and Thursday, a Tuesday and Friday. The problem is that most holidays fall on a Monday, and the people that are getting Monday pickup will be shorted on those pickups. But there's also another problem with cost. It would take more trucks or more overtime to collect the garbage during those 2 days opposed to the 3 days. So the cost advantage is not there. It could even cost more money, if not the same.
Ms. Del Monte, same question.
That is a question I would only be able to answer once I become commissioner. I'm not privy to that information.
Ms. Del Monte, taxes are already very high, as are utility costs. How will you keep the costs of the garbage district down?
I believe that the cost of the garbage district, I know that the budget, it is very fiscally sound. I don't find there are ways to lower it, but I do know I will work not to raise it.
Mr. Scaglione?
We work hard to manage the money. It's not our money, it's the people of Port Washington, it's their money. We do everything in our power to do everything as inexpensive as possible, but yet not hurt that of the services that they're providing.
Mr. Scaglione? Currently, the garbage district has no paid employees, as the commissioners do all the work. Will this remain the same if you are elected
Yes.
or re-elected?
Yes, it does, and that's following our charter.
Ms. Del Monte?
Can you please ask that again?
Sure. Currently, the garbage district has no paid employees, as the commissioners do all the work. Will this remain the same if you are elected?
Yes, definitely. I have enough time to dedicate to make sure that we do not need to hire employees that are being paid.
Ms. Del Monte, how many residents and businesses are included in the district? How can residents and businesses continue to effective running of the district?
Well, I definitely would need to be a commissioner in order to know exactly how many people, so I wouldn't want to speculate the exact number. I would work very hard to get them involved with new procedures or anything that has to do with environmental sound, recycling, educate, using social media to inform them about meetings, which are twice a month, reminding them that we would inspire them to join and collaborate with their ideas.
Thank you.
Could you repeat that question?
Certainly. How many residents and businesses are included in the district? And how can residents and businesses contribute to effective running of the district?
Well, from what over the years, I think there's roughly 7,000 homes in the district. The population count, I'm not 100% sure of, but in that 7,000 homes, you have to understand that each pickup cycle will be 3,500 homes. Our job is to have the trucks collect and be off the streets by 1 o'clock. It's a logistical nightmare, but we do everything in our power to get it done.
Mr. Scaglione, how do you evaluate performance by contractors? What do you consider most important, and how does this influence contract renewals and terminations?
We monitor the contractor closely. We depend on residents for their feedback, their emails, letting us know problems that may occur. We're on a daily basis with that of the route bosses and the managers in the company. And we'll cite any issues and keep tally of any issues that come up that could affect their contract, if they did again, contract being accepted.
Ms. Del Monte?
Can you please ask that again?
Certainly. How do you evaluate performance by contractors, or how would you? What would you consider most important, and how does this influence contract renewals and terminations?
Well, I think I would start backwards because, again, I am not on the committee, so I'm not privy to some of that information. But I would say that cost is a big factor on what they are charging, and with the help of the residents and the businesses in town, seeing what is most needed as a garbage commission, what we would need to do to work with the contract in order to choose the right contractors.
Ms. Del Monte, how can we work together with police to enforce issues such as leaves in black plastic bags and putting out cardboard on rainy days?
Well, that is definitely a big issue that I have as far as the cleanliness of the streets. We need to be more vigilant with giving violations. I don't inspire, costs and tickets where we have to impose more money on our residents and our business district, but they need to be accountable, and we need to work with recycling, maybe educating again our business owners and our residents on how to recycle properly, how to put out the trash. There are so many organizations that we could learn from, and again, social media and meetings. If residents would join us, taxpayers would join us at the meetings.
Mr. Scaglione? How can we work together with police to enforce issues such as leaves in black plastic bags or putting out cardboard on rainy days?
Well, laws come down from the town. The town makes the laws and we follow the laws. Any laws that have to be, laws that have to change that would allow police or code enforcement to issue citations would have to be done through the town. Is again, as far as writing tickets and costing people money, I'm totally against. Warnings, one thing, bench warrants, another thing. Bench tickets is probably something that have them come to the court, have them explain why, what, how. I think that would be a better way. But as far as the rules and regulations, we follow them, and the town sets them.
Mr. Scaglione, is it possible to change the hours the garbage is picked up? The trucks start at 4:30 a.m.
No, the trucks don't start at 4:30 a.m. The trucks, commercial 6 o'clock and residential 7 o'clock, and that's set by town standards.
Same question for Ms. Del Monte.
Well, that is something that I'm not privy to. I can't answer that question.
Ms. Del Monte, what do you consider the most important responsibilities of a garbage commissioner?
I definitely believe in collaborating with the town, with the taxpayers. We have a very educated town here. I would like to work with the other associations, civic associations. I think it's important to collaborate and get ideas. we need to keep a clean Main Street. Our business district needs to be clean. Our residents need to be heard if there are any complaints or even for that matter, just ideas for a better garbage district.
Mr. Scaglione?
As far as the district is in charge of collecting and disposing of garbage. And that in itself is a full-time job. The logistic nightmares that take place, the problems with trucks, the problems with times trucks show up, blocking streets, blocking buses, so on and so forth, that you try to work around. The day-to-day, all the information that the emails accepted, the paying of the bills, just the day-to-day work in a commissioner's job is long, hard. It's not respected. There's not a lot of time to, we have rules and regulations that we follow, we have a charter that we follow, and that's what we live by. Again, it's about collection and disposal, and that's what we hire a contractor to do.
Mr. Scaglione, how many garbage collection meetings have you attended in the past year, and what would you recommend to make them more efficient, effective, or accessible?
How many garbage?
Collection meetings. How many garbage collection meetings have you attended in the past year?
I think all but one.
And what would you recommend to make the meetings more efficient, effective, or accessible?
I feel they are efficient, I feel they are effective, and they are accessible.
Ms. Del Monte?
Well, I would like to start by saying I have read all the minutes as of January 2022 to the last ones posted, which I believe was October 13th. The last three have not been posted, I believe, because of the holidays. I wanted to start by saying that, and starting with this Thursday, I will be attending the meeting. I just joined the bid a year ago, and I have become privy to what is going on in town as far as the garbage situation on the streets. And now that I am acquainted with all of this and all of the parties involved trying to help, I find that I wanted to run for this seat because it is open, and I think I could help and do good being on the commission. So I have not gone to any of the meetings, but as of Thursday, I will attend the meetings.
Okay, all right, Ms. Del Monte, recycling rules seem to be an ongoing problem for the district, with some curbside recycling not being collected because it is commingled with trash or garbage. Have you considered community outreach beyond the print flyers that are distributed? Perhaps an FAQ on the website, or perhaps a short video on the website showing what is okay and what isn't. Starting with most common kinds of non-recyclables. Which community leaders have you contacted about, how your outreach could be better?
Well, I actually have spoken with Rewild Long Island, which is a beautiful organization that is working on keeping our planet alive, and I would reach out to them. And they would teach me, and I would like to further all of my teachings to our residents and businesses to act responsibly.
Mr. Scaglione?
Recycling is a town, mandatory town law. And as far as recycling and how it's recycled and how it should be recycled, it's all done through the town. The garbage commissioners really do not have any say in what they collect and what they do. So it has to be the town that would do that, and the town would have to enforce it.
Mr. Scaglione, do you get complaints from residents about garbage collection in town? And how are they handled? What is the process?
Process is pretty transparent. We accept emails from people, from the residents, and if there's a problem, we will contact the route boss or manager at the time. We then go out ourselves and see the problem area, if there is a problem area, and get it resolved.
Same question to Ms. Del Monte.
I would say ditto what Mr. Scaglione has said.
Okay. Ms. Del Monte, has the Port Washington Garbage Collection District Charter been updated since its inception? Do you have recommendations in terms of how it should read now?
That is a question I can't answer. I have been on the website. I think I would put some more elaboration on recycling, and I would just maybe have the links go towards helpful ideas from for the town, for the residents and business owners to help also.
Mr. Scaglione?
I think the charter is very simple and easy to understand. It's about collection and disposal. That's what we're in charge of. And I think we do it efficiently and affordably.
Mr. Scaglione, why is there no mandatory business recycling? Are you in favor of mandatory business recycling?
To be honest with you, this is something that the town sets the laws and the bylaws for. This is not, as far as I as a person, not as a commissioner, yes, I believe in recycling. But as far as the town has to enforce that, the town has to make the laws. And we only follow what they expect of us.
Ms. Del Monte?
I do believe in recycling, and I would work with the town of North Hempstead on ways that we could enforce it.
Ms. Del Monte, in nature, nothing goes to waste. Residents regularly plastic bags of leaves and other natural materials for curbside pick. We're gonna go to a different question. Many towns, again in Westchester and including New York City, have food scrap collection and composting. The town of North Hempstead is woefully behind with sustainable waste management. 20% of households' waste is food, waste that can be composted and put back into the soil, adding nutrients. Instead, our food goes up in the incinerator, smoke rots in landfills, where it turns into methane gas. How would you, and what would you do to start food scrap recycling and composting in our town?
Well, I first completely 100% agree with we must do that. Our world it needs to be taken care of. And if there is a way that I could be part of helping that, I definitely would. I know that I can reach out to our civic associations as well as Rewild and find out how I could help with that, getting our businesses and residents on board.
Mr. Scaglione?
Again, this is something that the town sets the laws by, and I would follow it. If they did, I would help them in any way, but the town has to do it.
Mr. Scaglione, the biggest line item in the district's budget is Dejana. How long have they had the contract? What are other major contracts and expenses?
The contracts are 3 years apiece. The bidding goes for a 3-year contract. As far as the line item, it might be a little bit of a how can I say it? It's a at this point in time, say a number of $2.3 million, but that's not what they receive, because the town, the contractor, Dejana in this case, will pay almost half of that back to the town of North Hempstead for tipping fees. So in essence, Dejana is really only receiving maybe 1.1, 1.2 million on their contract. The contracts go 3 years apiece, and the how can I say it? The most reasonable, it's the lowest, most responsible bidder is awarded the contract.
Ms. Del Monte?
Can you ask the question?
The biggest line item in the district's budget is Dejana. How long have they had the contract, and what are other major contracts and expenses?
Okay, so that's a question I would really have to answer if I were on the commission. I will say though, as a resident, I have no complaints with the Dejana contract.
Ms. Del Monte, currently billion tons of topsoil are lost to erosion annually, preventing plant life from taking roots and doing their service to clean air, the air of carbon. Natural material mishandling and malpractice is speeding up, global warming. At the Science Museum of Long Island, a handful of families have diverted more than 10,000 pounds of food scraps from the waste system in an old-fashioned effort of community composting. And with that, have already reduced local emissions drastically. Instead of treating natural materials like trash, are you open to localizing our yard and composting food scrap processing, perhaps with industrial-grade compost facility, creating jobs while returning nutrients to the ground?
Oh my God, how could you say no to that? Of course.
Mr. Scaglione?
Sounds like a great idea.
Mr. Scaglione, the most recent minutes for the district are from October. Even if there were not a 2021 New York State law requiring minutes be posted within 2 weeks, what is your response to having no minutes posted for the last 3 meetings? If elected, will you commit to around ensuring open access for the public? Would you consider holding some meetings in the evening or posting videos of the public portions?
That's a good question. As far as the minutes, our secretary in the district took ill, and we're overseeing with the elections, with everything going on. Yes, it was delayed in being posted, the minutes. As far as changing meeting times, changing a place, or videotaping, I don't think videotaping is going to be possible. But as far as changing a time, if we were requested to meet with somebody and talk with somebody, I think we would do it.
Ms. Delmonte?
I would follow as best as I could, obviously posting the minutes in the respectful time frame that they are asked to. I am not opposed to changing one of the 2 meetings a month to an evening, especially if we could have more attendance and help us with our garbage district.
Okay. Ms. Delmonte, how does the district collaborate with organizations when rules are set by the town?
Well, I do believe that the town is part of the people that I would contact in order to help us. So I think I would have to look into more of, I believe that the town is in collaboration with some of our association as much as they could be.
Mr. Scaglione?
Could you repeat that question?
How does the district collaborate with organizations when rules are set by the town?
Again, I'm sorry.
How does the district collaborate with other organizations when rules are set by the town?
That's a funny question, you know. We have open meetings. Everybody's welcome to come to our open meeting. We're willing to accept questions, emails, about any questions that arise. I don't understand about collaborating. It's about garbage pickup. It's about collection and disposal. I don't know how difficult that is to understand, but you know, I don't know what collaboration would be, what type of collaboration we would talk about. How they put it in the back of the truck, I don't know. You know, we're open to any suggestion. We're open to meeting with anybody. It's just, you know, I'm confused with how we would collaborate. So.
Mr. Scaglione, have you considered creating containers for yard waste or stickers for yard waste or recycling that have instructions for what should go in the containers, so the rules are right there for residents to read?
Well, that's something that the town did. They made stickers for containers. I think the best thing for our yard waste is to put them into garbage cans. I don't believe plastic bags are the answer. At one time, Robert Lang from SWAMA decided to make it only paper bags, but there was a lot of pushback. People felt that it was too expensive for the paper bags, and in the rain they'd break down. So I think the simplest way is to collect yard waste in garbage cans and so they can just be emptied into the back of the hopper.
Ms. Del Monte?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Have you considered creating containers for yard waste or stickers for yard waste or recycling that have the instructions for what should go in the containers? So the rules are right there for residents to read.
Well, being that I am not, part of the commission, I have to say that it is a good idea. Any way that could help make it easier or more explanatory to residents and businesses is helpful.
We're gonna have time for one last question. Ms. Del Monte, Port Washington has trash pickup 3 days a week. This means gas guzzling trucks are going to the street, whether people put out garbage or not, or some folks put partially filled plastic bags. We need to reduce waste, plastic consumption, and our carbon footprint. Similar towns in Westchester have 1 day a week pickup and recycling pickup every other week. Would you actively support in advance the move to fewer garbage pickup days?
Absolutely. If it's possible and it can be done, yes.
Mr. Scaglione?
I don't think the residents would tolerate that.
Okay.
So, Bonnie, one second.
Thank you, please stand by for just a few seconds. In the meantime, I'd like to remind voters that the election is on December 13th at the Polish American Hall between the hours of noon and 9 p.m.
You are now editing my question. I should just read that questions more appropriately.
Okay.
One more.
One question, all right. So for our final question, Mr. Scaglione, all right, Mr. Scaglione, who is responsible for the cleanliness of our streets?
Okay. We'll go back to that we're commissioners in the garbage collection district. Our part is to pick up the garbage. That's our part. As far as the street sweeping, I would imagine highway department. As far as, public safety, code enforcement, I would imagine. I think the bid in their charter is enhanced sanitation. So I would imagine that means that they could be responsible for it. There's a lot of parts to cleanliness and street cleaning, and keeping streets clean. And it has to be done not once, it has to be done continually. It can't just be once in a while, it has to be on a maintenance program. We pick up, if you're talking about Main Street, we pick up merchants' garbage 5 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday. As far as the litter baskets, we pick them up 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. As far as the cleanliness of the streets, it could be better, could be much better, but everybody has to participate.
All right, Ms. Del Monte?
I think I should really clean, I will find out who is responsible and keep them clean. There are civic associations that help clean that I know. I believe that our Washington Garbage District has a big responsibility. To what extent is something I would learn if I were commissioner. If there's room to do better, I would figure out how.
I'm going to remind everybody one more time that before the closing statements, I'd like to remind voters that the election is on December 13th at the Polish American Hall at 5 Pulaski Place between noon and 9 p.m. And now we will begin closing statements. Each candidate has 2 minutes, and Ms. Del Monte will begin.
Thank you. I am running for the garbage commissioner position because there is a desperate need for more responsive action from our garbage district. While the Port Washington Garbage main concern is obtaining the garbage contract, which they do well and efficiently, I believe we can productively work with the residents and the civic associations in the following areas: greater transparency and collaborative community involvement. I believe in fostering a dialogue with feedback from our constituents to find ways to improve the status quo for a betterment of our town. The Port Washington Garbage District must engage with the community and pursue possible new solutions and approaches. Cleaning up Main Street and the business district. Currently, many local community groups have taken on responsibility of cleaning litter on Main Street. The need is visible and real, and the residents and the businesses cannot improve without the garbage district's assistance and proactive cooperation. I want to review the commercial plan for trash pickup on Main Street to see if there is a better way. I will work hard with the Bid, Residents Forward, and Rewild Long Island to promote better waste management practices. If elected, I will focus on why there is a $2 million fund balance and its necessity, seeing if there are some ways it could help solve some of the current problems as well. I would review the current plan for both residential and commercial garbage pickup and research creative ideas for improvement, which could include having garbage pickup at alternative locations, leaving our sidewalks clear for shoppers and pedestrians. Thank you.
Well, thank you to the candidates this evening. I will have for both candidates. Oh,
I'll be short and sweet.
Mr. Scaglio.
I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting us this evening, my opponent for positive discussions, and to all the community for the time and consideration coming out tonight. If elected, I will cherish the opportunity to continue to serve the community and to continue to uphold the efficiency and affordability of the district. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you to the candidates tonight. It takes a lot to run for public service, and you have both shown your commitment, and you've raised issues and offered valuable insights tonight. I'd also like to thank the audience for asking such thought-provoking questions and eliciting excellent responses. We had so many questions that we still aren't finished, and we went over, so I would like to thank everybody. The Port Washington Library, thank you so much for hosting us. This was incredible, and I'd like to thank the cameraman as well, thank you. And for the League of Women Voters, thank you for all of your work.